Human history is filled with bizarre accounts and unexplained mysteries that were later debunked or solved by some of the greatest minds on the planet. However, some more recent mysteries escape an explanation and leave us speculating.
But before we keep going, I need to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It's time for you to take on the Demon Lord, decimate the Ice Golem, and eventually ascend the Doom Tower. You can also fight against millions of players in the arena, so get ready for some truly incredible combat. With more than 600 champions and hundreds of artifacts to collect, you can raid your way and develop your fearsome team like never before. What I love most about this game is that there are countless ways to play. There's no set path to take, so you can make all your own decisions and play the game however you would like. It reminds me of some of the great games from the past, such as Skyrim or literally any game from the Fallout franchise. You can build a team however you see fit, and you can even find heaps of weekly rewards by joining a clan and fighting off a clan boss. Raid has now introduced Ninja as well. He is a super limited edition champion that will only be available until October 15th. After that, you'll never have a chance to get him again, literally ever. There are also some amazing new updates this month for the Doom Tower. There are 2 new bosses, including Astronix, the Dark Fae, and Bummel the Dreadhorn, along with many secret rooms to discover and loads of artifacts to win. You can also join in on super raids that let you double your rewards from hitting dungeons. If there's ever been a great time to jump in for new players, it's right now. So what are you waiting for? You can get started by easily scanning the QR code on this video, or just click the link in the description. New players will even be given an epic hero named Shonoru, 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard. Just look at this amazing champion you'll be getting for free. You'll also find extra rewards in your inbox for the next 30 days only, so be sure to scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get started today. But let's get back to the video.
Number 5. The case of Laurel Lee Rogers is one of just thousands of strange and scary mysteries from the past decade. In the age of social media and the internet, it seems like it would be much harder for a person to just vanish into thin air. But Laurel Lee's case proves otherwise. 28-year-old Laurel Lee Rogers was last seen on February 1st, 2010, leaving her home in the 1000 block of Horizon View Boulevard in Port Orange, Florida. According to her mother, Loretta, Laura Lee had spent the afternoon having dinner with friends and returned home before leaving once more between 5:20 p.m. and 6 p.m. Lorette remembers saying "Bye, I love you" to her daughter, not knowing that it would be the last time she would ever see her. The last known contact made by Laura Lee was at 6:30 p.m. when one of her friends received a bizarre phone call. In the call, a man named Jamal could be heard speaking to Laura Lee before the call ended. After this, no one has seen or heard from her again. When she failed to return home, she was reported as a missing person, and the Port Orange Police Department opened an investigation. The police tracked Laurel Lee's phone to the Newport Richey area of Florida, over 169 miles away from her home in Port Orange. Police have not released any further information in regards to this, and we can only speculate as to why her phone pinged so far away from her home. Sadly, Laurel Lee's phone was turned off shortly after, and has never been used since. Laurel Lee has also never accessed her bank accounts or made any contact with family or friends since the day she went missing in 2010. Disturbingly, her mother also told investigators that Laurel Lee has not refilled any of her prescriptions and left all of her medications at home. It appears that after leaving the family home, Laurel Lee simply vanished into thin air. Laurel Lee suffers from fibromyalgia and lupus, meaning that she lives with chronic pain. In addition to this, she also suffers from kidney problems and seizures, that require medication to keep them under control. Some of her medications also prevent her from slipping into multiple organ failure, which would prove fatal if left untreated. It's also known that Laurel Lee abused prescription medication and would sometimes sell her medication to obtain others in the Daytona Beach area. Loretta told the Ledger, quote, "She didn't walk away from home willingly. Someone knows where she is. They just need to tell the truth." At the time of her disappearance, Laurel Lee was on probation for a grand theft auto charge, and authorities have now listed her as missing and as an absconder. Laurel Lee Rogers was 28 years old when she was last seen in Port Orange, Florida, on February 1st, 2010. She is described as a white female with light brown hair and blue eyes. She's between 5'7" and 5'10", and 150 to 166 pounds. According to her Charlie Project profile, she has scars on both of her wrists and substantial bruising and scars on her arms and legs. Due to her medical conditions, she's listed as endangered missing, and anyone with information is asked to contact the Port Orange Police Department at 386-756-7400. Number 4. 76-year-old Richard Gary Parker was last seen leaving his home in Texas on April 24, 2010. He was seen entering his black and silver 2004 Dodge 330, and according to news reports, police believe that he was headed for Waco, Texas. Neighbors of Richards noted this event as odd, as he was known not to have driven in years before his disappearance. It's also not known why he headed south to Waco. In a strange twist to the case, witnesses at the Mountain View Lodge near Lake Brownwood in Texas reported seeing a man fitting Richards' description on April 25, 2010. According to one article written by the Waco Tribune, Richards' car was eventually towed in early May, and it wasn't until they ran the plates days later that they realized it belonged to the missing 76-year-old. By this point, Richard had been reported missing by concerned family members, and when the tow company realized that the car belonged to a missing man, they called it in to investigators. His family confirmed that they had not seen him since a family holiday to Lake Brownwood State Park, but outside of that, Richard had no connection to the area. Investigators remained hopeful that Richard had simply checked into the lodge for a quiet holiday and had forgotten to inform his family of his plans. But sadly, this wasn't the case, and employees at the Mountain View Lodge told investigators that Richard hadn't checked into the lodge in the days following his disappearance. In May of 2010, a woman in Lake Brownwood, Texas, called police to report a bizarre and disturbing incident. She told investigators that while going about her daily routine, she'd left the door to her RV unlocked, and that when she returned, she found a pair of men's shoes along with open cans of soda. Investigators were perplexed when they arrived at the scene and discovered that the shoes belonged to missing Richard Gary Parker. We're now left with more questions than answers in regards to Richard's mysterious disappearance. Did Richard leave his shoes in the RV and open a few cans of soda? Or was this an attempt to throw investigators off by someone who is involved in his disappearance? Until Richard is located, it's unlikely that we'll ever know. Richard Gary Parker was 76 years old at the time of his disappearance, and is described as a white male with brown hair and brown eyes. He suffers from type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and Alzheimer's, and requires medication to manage these conditions. He is 6'3" to 6'5", and 190 to 200 pounds, and was last seen wearing a short-sleeve plaid shirt, dark blue jeans, black Converse shoes, a brown belt, a baseball hat, and a watch. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Hill County Sheriff's Department at 254-582-5315. Number 3. The pyramids of Egypt have been a source of mystery and intrigue for centuries. And in 2017, a team of Japanese and French scientists made an announcement that added an extra layer to our fascination with ancient Egypt. Between 2015 and 2017, the team of scientists had been working on Khufu's pyramid, also known as the Great Pyramid, using a brand new technique called muography. Muography is an imaging technique that allows scientists to examine changes in density in large structures, such as Khufu's pyramid. What the scientists found inside shocked not just the scientific community, but the world, and confirmed that there are many creepy and strange discoveries out there just waiting to be uncovered. Inside the pyramid, the scientists discovered what they could only describe as a large void. A researcher told BBC News in 2017, quote, "We don't know whether this big void is horizontal or inclined. We don't know if this void is made by one structure or several successive structures. What we are sure about is that this big void is there, that it is impressive, and that it was not expected, as far as I know, by any sort of theory." Experts can't seem to agree on the matter. Some believe that it's an intentional structural design made to relieve pressure from other parts of the building, while others have been unable to reach a definitive answer. Until further testing is conducted and technology catches up with us, we may never know the real reason behind the large void in Khufu's pyramid. Number 2. Imagine purchasing your dream home, whether that's somewhere with lots of sun or somewhere secluded where you can relax. In early 2020, Jean-Bernard Lafanta purchased an abandoned Parisian mansion for over $35 million at auction and believed that he'd stumbled upon the property of a lifetime. As far as Jean-Bernard knew, he'd purchased the property in the center of Paris that backed out onto the former home of Eva St. Laurent. Little did Jean-Bernard know that he was about to make the discovery of the decade. After purchasing the abandoned mansion, he began the much-needed renovation process and was instructed to restore the property to its former glory under a strict set of guidelines. The restoration process was abruptly halted when the mummified body of a man was found in the basement of the property. One witness said, quote, "In February, just before lockdown, the works were going well. Trucks of rubble left the site every day. Then suddenly everything stopped. Everyone was devastated to learn it had been there so long without any of us knowing." French authorities have only released that the body was that of an adult male, and that they found evidence of knife wounds and consider it to be a homicide investigation. Further down the line, they identified a man known as Jean-Pierre Renaud, but so far they're unable to name any suspects in the case. Jean-Pierre's next of kin were notified, and it appears that renovation works have commenced at the property. Until French authorities work out who's responsible, we're all left to speculate. Number 1. On March 10th, 2019, a resident working along Douglas Lake in Dandridge, Tennessee, made a discovery that would change their life forever. As they were walking along the lake, they spotted a golf bag and noted that it looked very out of place. Not wanting to take any risks, they called the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, who arrived on the scene within minutes. Upon opening it up, they confirmed that the mysterious golf bag contained human remains, kickstarting a strange mystery that is yet to be solved. The Knox County Regional Forensic Center was called in to help the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office investigate, and after transporting the remains back to their center, they made another shocking discovery. The head and hands of the deceased were not inside the bag, nor were they found at the scene, leaving investigators with very little information to work with. The Knox County Regional Forensic Center was able to determine that the body belonged to a white male between the ages of 30 and 45 and that he was between 5'7" and 5'10". Due to only part of his remains being discovered, his eye color, hair color, and weight are not available. Despite this, the cause of death is officially listed as homicide, and investigators are hopeful that there will be a large break in this case soon. The man is now known as the Jefferson County John Doe, in absence of his real name. He was found wearing a black Walking Dead t-shirt, blue jeans, a black belt with the name Gerald imprinted on it, a white belt buckle with a horseshoe and a horse head, and white socks. DNA is available for comparison, and anyone with information is urged to contact Megan Sharp of the Knox County Regional Forensics Center at 865-215-8025, quoting case number 190-210-320. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.